Year 4. I'm here with your English lesson for Monday. Well done on completing your first week of isolation. It's not easy. You're doing really, really well. You should be feeling really proud of yourselves. You're doing a good job. Right, let me share my screen with you and we'll get started. Okay, so this is English for Monday, the 23rd of November, 2020. And we are learning to write and edit an innovative explanation text using paragraphs, fronted adverbials, and causal conjunctions. We're going to carry on today. We're going to do the last paragraph of your explanation text. So you don't need to write that long date and that won't. So don't write the long date and won't. So in today's lesson, we're going to think about what goes in your last paragraph. So pause the video for a moment, have a look back at your planning, remind yourself what notes you made for your last paragraph. Okay, last lesson with Mrs. Plews, she asked you to write a star and a next step. I'd like you to read the star and the next step that you wrote last lesson. Give yourself a pat on the back for your star, for something that you did really, really well. Okay, we were really impressed with this quality of work that you sent through. So you should all be giving yourself a really big pat on the back. So look at that star and then have a look at the next step. What did you decide yourselves that you needed to work on next? So keep up that good work. What you are writing is really good writing. Keep that up. You've got one last paragraph to do today. Next thing I want you to do is I want you to have a scan through your work and I want you to put an asterisk. An asterisk looks like a star. I put one there for you. Put an asterisk next to your favourite fronted adverbial. The fronted adverbials are our target, aren't they? They're our focus at the moment. So put an asterisk next to your favourite one that you've used so far. Okay, I have also been writing my explanation text and I just wanted to show you my work and I'd like you to think, what do you think of it? Is it good? Does it need any work? Have a look. The ancient Egyptians believed in the afterlife. They thought that when they died, they would go on a journey. Consequently, this is why pyramids often contained tunnels to the stars. Okay, I want you to pause the video and I want you to decide what you think of my work. Okay, hopefully you've realised that there are a few mistakes in there. So let's work together to correct my mistakes. I'm going to start at the beginning. I've got a capital letter, so that's fine. So the ancient Egyptians. Egyptians should have a capital E. Also, I've got an apostrophe in there. There's two things we use apostrophes for. One is for possession, when something belongs to somebody, and one is to show a missing letter. So no, this isn't about anything belonging to anybody, and there are no letters missing, so I don't need that apostrophe. Let's get rid of that. The ancient Egyptians believed in the afterlife. Hopefully you've noticed that I've spelt life wrong. L-I-F-E. They thought that when they died, they would go on a journey. I've not got any punctuation in between that sentence and that sentence. Just have a think for me. What punctuation would you put at the end of that sentence? I'm falling over my words today. The ancient Egyptians believed in the afterlife. I think a nice simple full stop. Capital letter here. They thought that when they died, they would go on a journey. Another full stop. Can you spot any other problems in this second sentence? They thought that when they died, they would go on a journey. Look really, really carefully. You may have spotted that I have spelt the word died wrong. Now, the spelling I have used is the sort of spelling you would use if you tie-dyed something. Okay. So that is a real spelling, but that's not the correct one. Okay, it's a homophone. It's a word which sounds the same but is spelt differently. Okay, start of a new sentence. I need a capital C on my consequently. Consequently, this is why pyramids often contain tunnels to the stars. Consequently, that's a fronted adverbial, isn't it? What kind of punctuation do you think I need after my fronted adverbial? Hopefully you all just shouted a comma, Mrs. Cross, at the screen. Consequently, comma, this is why pyramids often contain tunnels to the stars. Now I've got another spelling here, which is wrong. This is incorrect. This is another homophone. So this is a real word, but that's the spelling for the number 2. It should be spelled in this instance as T-O. Tunnel to the stars. So I think I've spotted all my mistakes there. Now, our writing target, we've talked about it loads. I've not even covered it up today because I expect that you already know. Our writing target is to use a variety of fronted adverbials in my writing. Looking at the wonderful work that you have produced in the last week, I would say most of you have achieved your target already. You've done really, really well. We're getting really natural at using our fronted adverbials. My main feedback would be just make sure you remember your comma. But I have written 4 sentences here and they all have fronted adverbials, so I think I've done really well. Just see what you think. On Monday evening, I ate my dinner. Okay, I've got my fronted adverbial on Monday evening and I remembered my comma. After dinner, comma, I played football in the garden. Before bed, comma, I brushed my teeth. After that, comma, I went to bed. I'm going to read it again. I want you to think, is this good work? On Monday evening, I ate my dinner. After dinner, I played football in the garden. Before bed, I brushed my teeth. After that, I went to bed. What do you think? I think it's okay. I mean, it's good that I used fronted adverbials. It's a bit boring, isn't it? I wonder if there are any fronted adverbials that I could have used which would make it better. Okay, because we're getting more sophisticated now. We're all getting really good at fronted adverbials. We now need to be thinking, well, what's the best fronted adverbial I could use? On Monday evening, I ate my dinner. I'd like you to decide what would be an alternative option, something that might make my sentence more interesting. Instead of saying on Monday evening, what could I say instead? I thought perhaps hungrily, comma, I ate my dinner. Okay. Now in my head, I can imagine me really, really quickly scoffing down my dinner because I'm so hungry. I get a better picture in my head when I use that fronted adverbial than I do when I say on Monday evening. You might have come up with something even better. Okay, next one. After dinner, I played football in the garden. It's okay. Full of energy, I played football in the garden. I think that's better. Again, I've got a much better picture in my head of that scene. I can imagine myself bouncing about, full of energy, playing football in the garden. The next one, before bed, I brushed my teeth. Again, it's great that I used the fronted adverbial, but it's a bit obvious. Most of us choose to brush our teeth before bed. If I had written, in the middle of the morning, I brush my teeth, that might be unusual, but it's quite common to brush our teeth before bed. What would be better? Wearily, I brushed my teeth. Oh, that's much better. Okay, I can see myself brushing my teeth really slowly, really tired. Okay, what about my last one? After that, I went to bed. I'd like you to decide what I could have put instead. What would be better than after that? Okay, I went for, in my messy bedroom, I went to bed. Okay, hopefully you can see that using fronted adverbials is brilliant. It's really sophisticated work. But if you want to be even more sophisticated, you need to think about what is the best fronted adverbial you can use. I'd like you to keep that in mind when you're writing today. Because today you're going to do that final paragraph. So once again, go back to your notes. I'd like you to speed read your notes. Your notes are all about how did the Egyptians build the pyramids. We're talking about how today. So speed read your notes. When you've done that, come back to the video. Okay. You now need to think, what am I going to include? Now, I put your steps set here. These are the ones Mrs. Clues gave you in your last lesson. So we have got a title. You should already have a title on your work. You've already done your opening paragraph. You should be writing, some of it will be in chronological order. The stages of your process are clearly broken down in your plan. Now you are writing a historical text, so you're not actually in the present tense, you're in the past tense. The ancient Egyptians believed, they knew that, okay? An impersonal tone, you're writing in a very professional tone, aren't you? You should have used technical vocabulary. You're using words like pyramid and sarcophagus. You might like to do a diagram with some illustrations. You are using causal conjunctions. Lots of you have used some really good ones so far. I've really enjoyed reading your writing. Today we're doing our final paragraph. Okay. Right at the end of your paragraph, you might like to do a sentence that links back to your opening. You might like something along the lines of, so that is why the ancient Egyptians built the pyramids. Think back to your model text, and in our model text, the final sentence did link back to the opening, didn't it? And today you are writing in a passive voice. What I'd like you to do is write the short date in your margin. This is why I asked you not to write the long date at the start of the lesson. So write the short date in your margin, and that will show where you have started your work today. And then I'd like you to pause the video and think, how am I going to start today's paragraph? What would be the best way to start my work? So pause the video and have a think. Okay, we're going to have a go together now. So how did the Egyptians build the pyramids? Just a reminder there, don't forget to include fronted adverbials and causal conjunctions. Right, I'm going to have a think for a minute. I'd like you to think with me about how I'm going to start my work today. I think I'm going to start with a fronted adverbial. Firstly, remember my comma, firstly, the workers quarried the rock with copper tools. Firstly, comma, the workers quarried the rock with copper tools. You know what, I think I can make that even better. Instead of the workers, I'm going to put the labourers. Firstly, the labourers quarried the rock with copper tools. Let's keep improving it. Instead of rock, it was a special type of rock, wasn't it? I wonder if you know what type of rock it is. I was going to ask you to help me, but you won't be able to tell me through the screen, will you? It was limestone. Firstly, the workers quarried the limestone with copper tools. Can we add an adjective about our tools with useful copper tools with small copper tools? Firstly, the labourers quarried the limestone with small copper tools. Okay, that's a good start. Let's write something else about that. So this work was dangerous and it must have been really hard, mustn't it? I mean, the weather gets quite hot in Egypt. We talked about that at the beginning of our unit. So it's dangerous and exhausting. Exhausting is much better than tiring, isn't it? This work was dangerous and exhausting. Let's build on the fact we said it was dangerous. Nowadays, when people do lots of building, they get hard hats and they get lots of safety equipment, but they didn't have that then. So there was no safety equipment. Now, Mrs. Clues said last week that it's really good to include brackets in our work for extra information. So there was no safety equipment like harnesses and helmets. Close my bracket, and then after my bracket I need to put my punctuation for the end of the sentence. There was no safety equipment. I think a full stop's the best punctuation there, like harnesses and helmets. Okay. Let's have another fronted adverbial. As a result, workers could be hurt or even killed. Hurt or even killed. Let's just read through. I'm going to get my editing pen. Make sure that I've got this right. So firstly, comma, the labourers quarried the limestone with small copper tools. This work was dangerous and exhausting. I like my exclamation mark. There was no safety equipment like harnesses and helmets. As a result, workers could be hurt or even killed. As a result, the fronted adverbial, I should have put a comma after that, shouldn't I? As a result, workers could be hurt or even killed. Right, that's how I would start my paragraph. Now, I've obviously got more facts. I've got more I need to say, but that's how I would start it. If you would like to magpie any of my work to start your paragraph, then please do. That's absolutely fine, as long as you add your own work afterwards. Okay, you need to pause the video now, and you need to finish off that very last paragraph. Now, don't forget, for your final sentence, we need you to link it back to the opening. So perhaps do something like, so now you know why the ancient Egyptians built pyramids. So pause the video, finish off your paragraph. Right, well done, Year 4. You have written your very last paragraph. You should be feeling really, really proud. You have completed your explanation text and you've completed it at home, okay, without having lots and lots of help from your teachers. That's really grown up. You should feel really, really proud. Now, you all know that there's one final stage in the writing process. So we've planned our writing, we've written it, and now we need to edit it. We need to proofread the final piece of work, and we need to make sure we have included the steps to success. Now, Emmett has been having a think about proofreading and editing, and Emmett thinks that editing is the least important part of writing and should be quick and easy. Do you agree with Emmett? Have a chat if you've got somebody around you. Is editing really quick and easy and not very important? Okay, Emmett is wrong. Editing is really, really important. Often editing actually takes longer than the writing did in the first place. My class, Stowe class, will know that I went to university with a girl who is now a famous published author. She's in the top 10 Sunday Times authors. And when she writes a book, she actually takes longer to edit it than she does to write it. Okay, and she's a professional author, so editing is really, really important. So what you need to do, I've got an example of somebody's work here. You are going to choose one colour for each feature in your table. We provided you with this table in your document for today. So if you can print it, that's brilliant. Print it, cut it out and glue it into your work. If you can't print it, that's absolutely fine. You just need to use your ruler or something with a long straight edge, and you need to copy out the table into your book. You're going to choose one colour for each feature on the table. You are going to skim through your work and you're going to find that feature and underline at least one example of it. Then you are going to write the words into the My Examples box. I'm going to show you what I mean. So I'm going to pick red for my past tense. So I need to find an example of where I have written in the past tense. So ancient Egyptians believed, there we are, look, believed, it's got an ED on it, it's written in the past tense. So I'm going to underline it and then I'm going to write in my red pen, believed in my box, believed. Okay. Let's move that so it fits neatly in my box. I'll get my red pen back again because I might have another one. Need to remember to colour in that box on my key. You'll do it much neater than me. It's quite hard to colour this in on screen. Okay, the ancient Egyptians believed that when they died, they would go to another world. That when they died, they would go to another world. In order to make the journey, the pharaohs built. Look, that's past tense. Built. Got believed. Got built. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for now. You might find lots more, but I don't want to keep you waiting for ages. So let's go on to our next colour, third person. So third person, that's when we're talking about other people. So the ancient Egyptians, that's the third person. And when they died, they is third person. I'm going to colour in that box on my key in blue. And I'm going to write in blue, because blue is the colour for third person. I'm going to write ancient Egyptians. I'm going to write they into that box. Right, my next one is technical vocabulary. I'm going to choose yellow for my technical vocabulary. Have I got yellow on here? Yes. Okay. Technical vocabulary. Let's see what I can find. Is there any in this person's work? Oh, pharaohs. Let me keep looking. Ooh, sarcophagus. That's definitely technical vocabulary. Right, I've got pharaohs and I've got sarcophagus. You might be able to spot some more. Pharaohs, sarcophagus. Okay, and then I'm going to get my yellow pen and I'm going to colour that box in yellow just to show that the yellow is my technical vocabulary. Right, next one, causal conjunctions. Have a look, can you spot any causal conjunctions in my work? I'm going to do those in green. In order to make journey, the pharaohs built pyramids to help them to the other world. The pharaohs started building the pyramids in 2500 BC and stopped in 1600 BC because they were being robbed. There we are, we've got one. Because. I'm going to put because in that box. Now you might find some more, but I won't keep you waiting. Make that one green. Okay, last one. You're doing well, Mrs. Grass. Let's do the last one in purple. Colour that one in purple there. Look, fronted adverbials. Can you help me find any fronted adverbials, I wonder? Consequently, pharaohs wanted their body to protect on their journey to the afterlife. So that should be a full stop. Consequently, the pharaohs built pyramids that pointed to the stars. Yes, good. Okay. Let's get our purple writing. Consequently. So that's what you need to do next. You need to go through your work and you need to colour code it to show that you have met our steps to success. So pause the video, complete that task, and then start the video playing again, please. Right, that's it. You are at the end of your explanation text. What you need to do now is draw yourself a learning line on your work and show me where you are in the learning pitch. And now I'd like it to be an accurate judgment. So I want you to think about each day of your writing, how well you've done finding those features. If you manage to find all those features in your work really easily, then you should be somewhere over here on your learning pit. You've done a great job. Okay, so think about your whole piece of writing. Where do you think you are on your learning pit? Okay, that's the end of our lesson today, Year 4. Well done. Okay, you should be really proud of your work. Got some really lovely pieces of writing. It would be very good if you get the opportunity to share them with someone. So have a think, is there somebody in your house that you could share your work with? Take care and I will see you soon.